I've received hundreds of messages from people asking, do a video on gay marriage. Have a voice that sounds less like a trumpet. I did one in the 2016 election. No, all I can be is myself. Do another one? No, because I already did 2 in the 2016 election. And oh jeez, now I'm doing a 3rd one.
Not pre-planned!
Really didn't want to, because there's already enough people in my Facebook feed who I know for a fact
pissed in an Uber and the driver didn't know?
Zukev, no. Who all of a sudden think they're the pinnacle of morality because
I support SSM and not paying clean-up fees. I'm a good person.
So I think we all get the message from their Facebook filters and the massive celebrity endorsements and the halftime shows and the facial expressions from work colleagues telling other work colleagues that
she's voting no on the plebiscite. Yes, I'm voting no.
That yes, obviously you should vote yes, and I'm pretty sure everyone watching this already has, and if you haven't, go do it now. But to all those brave celebrities and the people that have written excruciatingly long Facebook posts that no one reads. Why are you so enthusiastic about a $500 million survey, but you could not care less about getting a government elected that would have passed gay marriage without any foo for all, but also, and I know this isn't as important as true love, but not cut $54 billion from hospitals so the government could give that money to Australia's wealthiest corporations, or made TAFE as expensive to study as medicine to no improvement of the federal budget, just a massive handout of public money to private shark companies, or using tax money the Liberals took away from the disabled to continue funding tax cuts to property developers that are artificially increasing the price of housing. How does none of that deserve a Facebook filter, but the plebiscite deserves a hilarious yes, you know the answer. Actually, unless you had an incredibly jaded media studies lecturer, probably not. I don't know, SBS Viceland's pretty good, man. It has a cooking show that has the word fuck right in the title. The sad truth is most Australians were undecided about these issues because unlike gay marriage, which takes
I think you should be able to do whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt anyone.
3 seconds to come to a conclusion to, if we were having a plebiscite on something like, do you think corporate taxes should be cut by 5%? Just a second. 36 hours later. Actually, 1 more second. 87 days later. Fuck me, I actually did need 3 months to decide that, no. Because most Australians don't have time to think about the direction of the nation, they're too busy keeping a roof over their head and throwing seafood at their friends while they're on the toilet and filming it. Fuck off! Fuck off! Oh! They have to rely on the media to keep them informed, and that's like relying on a dog not to go wacko over a schmacko.
Look at this. Look at this. You ready? So wacko! So unbelievably wacko for smacko!
The media doesn't give a shit about informing you. As an institution, they have a vested interest in misinforming you. And as individuals, they're all little Marie Antoinettes that move into the inner west because they think that poverty is how you say romantic. And like a faux beggar's cottage on her palatial grounds, they live in faux slums and think constantly about how to advance their own fucking careers and not at all about the direction of the nation.
Seriously? You're calling me a careerist? I'm addicted to Snapchat.
Or when the Liberals cut penalty rates earlier this year, not by a little, the biggest wages cut since the Great Depression, aimed straight at the poorest million Australians in a time of record profit for corporations, which unlike Uberstank, I'd argue is just a tad more important than a fucking $500 million what do you reckon, but no, 1/15 the coverage of the plebiscite. And that was after the election. Before, when we actually had a chance to stop these penalty rates cuts, nothing. I was dismissed as a conspiracy theorist by some of these smug pricks in the media for even bringing it up.
Well, not so friendly, Geordies. You're the first person to think of that. It's actually our job in the media not to take sides, so...
To quote Carl the Cuck, are you kidding me? The mainstream media has clearly been campaigning for a yes vote, and it's not because they care about gay marriage, because if they did, why didn't they support Labor in the 2016 election? They support it because their sponsors support it. It's no skin off ANZ's nose if gay marriage passes, but what would be is if there was a government that was in power that set up a royal commission into just how these big four banks have generated $30 billion super profits over the last decade. Or a government that would properly tax their super profits, and so as a deliberate, academically documented, worldwide strategy of the mainstream media, they drag out these binary, emotive social issues like this, or saying sorry, or the Republic, and focus all their coverage on it like it's the only thing that happened in the last decade, while 80% of the wealth from the mining boom was sucked out of this country, straight into the bank accounts of foreign companies, which no one knew about because that entire time the mainstream media was discussing.
It is so embarrassing that the Queen is literally still on our money. What does she even do?
I don't give a fuck if Ivan Milet was on the front of it. We have trillions of dollars less of it. If you think this is a conspiracy theory, why has there been this relentless campaign by the mainstream media to get people to register on the AEC for an opinion poll, broke national records for enrollment, but during the 2016 election, which was unquantifiably more important, not just for gay marriage, but a plethora of environmental and economic issues, the mainstream media, not naming any names here, Project, could only afford the airtime for...
Do it right now, because in less than an hour, for some reason, at 8 p.m, you will no longer be able to enrol.
Thanks for giving us notice, Wiley.
I don't care who you vote for.
What?
And if that doesn't excite you, then maybe you just like the idea of making Malcolm and Bill really bloody nervous.
Stop fucking saying they're the same! Contrast that with the months of...
If you don't vote yes, I just want to know why.
Fuck off, you are not the moral compass of this country. If the media were to morph into a monster from Mighty Morphing Power Rangers, it'd take the shape of a giant Malcolm Turnbull because he is the human embodiment of their fucking coverage. Patting themselves on the back very publicly for refusing to work with the No campaign and how they're on the right side of history. Funny how none of these advertising agencies and media companies didn't come out and express the same moral outrage for the mining industry's $100 million campaign against the mining tax. Well, it's like that hypothetical you play in your head of how much money would it take to have sex with Gina Reinhardt, and the answer is $100 million. Which is why the news, I've got news for you. We the public see through your glib, insincere grasps at credibility. Public trust in you as an institution has plunged even further down the toilet, and if you think these new wave floaters like Junkie or Vice or BuzzFeed's Incredible, Michelangelo's David of Shit, any news presented by people who watch the Bondi hipsters and don't get that they're the ones being paid out.
Oh my god, that is so on point. Hipsters are like that.
Vote with your clicks. Like a bunch of pages like the Union, the Australian Institute, a few green groups like the ACF and the Marine Conservation Society, because unlike these slight sim variations of their basic avatars of Todd Sampson and Mia Friedman that infest Surrey Hills, the aforementioned institutions think about things bigger than them not trying to look insecure.
Do you think anyone's noticed?
Yes. You're not intelligent enough to be smug. And to answer everyone's question on whether or not I support a yes vote. No.
What you gonna do? Fucking gonna do?
Obviously I support a yes vote. But I want to make one thing perfectly clear. Not because these opportunistic vipers in the media told me to.